Morning.
Well, in the absence of the mayor, I will call this meeting to order for the regular quarterly meeting on October 14th for the Binghamton Urban Renewal Agency. First order of business will be approval of the minutes from our July 8th regular meeting.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Third quarter financial reports, that will be with some guy named C. Robinson. I don't know who he is. Basically, the only activity in the quarter is interest and utilities. I had already sent the grant income to the stadium last quarter. Right now, we added another $48 in deficit amount just due to the rising cost of electricity, keeping the lights on over there. Do I have any questions on that? The budget's gonna be going up the next few years, so. Because I guess there was a problem with last year and this year's budget. But we're gonna get some more money into the Bureau account, because it's been slowly going down because the expenses are going up.
Right.
So we need to somehow adjust that.
Utilities keep going
Yeah,
up.
utilities going up.
Yeah.
So we send $25,000 to the stadium, but if we have a $5,000 audit. And then extra
Okay.
utilities, we're gonna keep digging
Right.
into our savings account.
Yeah,
So,
audit used to be about 2.
yeah,
Okay.
and it's going up too
Wow.
next year.
Is this in my class?
No, Bura is not.
Can it be or no?
It's really not enough money, but
I just-
I mean, I can look
I
into.
know the
it.
interest rates dropped anyway, so it might not even be worth it. but-
Yeah, for night class, possibly. I know we could do it for BLDC,
Mhm.
but I didn't know about Bura. That's a,
I don't see
Is
why
there-
the public authority, sorry.
Is there any like discussion surrounding like updating the lease with the new owners to cover some of the?
there is a maintenance
expenses?
agreement, yeah. And we give them the $25,000 and that's for their regular maintenance for the year.
Mhm.
And then anything and over and above that, we can have a conversation. They have paid for extra expenses in the past that were related to maintenance or upkeep for, according to Major League Baseball, but other than that,
I'm sorry, I was late.
Yeah, that's
Stadium
okay.
is the
yeah, the
question.
stadium, the.
Topic of growing expenses over the
The
years
expenses are
came
growing,
on,
so.
Yeah,
Utilities and the audit, you know, so. I didn't know if we could amend the agreement to get some more money into Bureau instead of.
well, I think the ultimate issue is not this like routine maintenance, 25,000, but that the lease and I haven't looked at the lease in a long time, but it requires that the stadium be compliant with Major League Baseball specifications. So, it's not if, but when Major League Baseball says, hey, this is needed, this needs to be fixed, and there's documentation of it, it's ultimately the city's responsibility. Or else the team can pick up and walk away and say, we don't want to play baseball here. So there's a pretty significant legal hammer that the team has to kind of make the city address, what is required with Major League Baseball. I think you were on council, maybe it was before, but this like locker room that was required in weight room, Major League Baseball had specific standards that we had to meet, and it was not, a question of how long it's going to take to do it. It was, we had to do it. So those are the bigger kind of agenda items for the stadium. It's, we have to meet the Major League Baseball standards, and, this lasts until the current player development contract, which is, I think, the end of the 2029 season. So, coming up in 2030, Major League Baseball will evaluate what stadiums are meeting their specifications, and but until then, based on the contract, city as owners really have to do it, or the team can choose to play elsewhere.
I think the question is more, sorry. I was gonna say, I think the question is more like, as our expenses for the stadium keep rising, like our monthly expenses, we're just continuing to dig into the money that's in the account. Is there a way for us to have more money going into this account to make that balance out, or is that even worth it at this point? Is that the question? Am I understanding that?
Wasn't some of the occupancy tax going to this?
Well, I mean, it's in theory, but basically that we're using the occupancy tax because there's not only the annual or the annual costs cash, but there's what we bonded for over the years to make the stadium compliant. So what we get in occupancy tax does not quite cover what our annual stadium expenses are between debt service and this 25,000.
We borrowed a considerable amount of money over the past 3 years, I believe, for these mainly baseball compliant. Those were city expenditures, and these are basically for the contract for maintenance and what have you. And sometimes the maintenance items do come over and above the 25,000, as you can see. In previous years, we've spent more than 25,000 over there.
And one way to think about it too, so if there is annual maintenance on a air conditioning unit, right, or a boiler, you know, that is something that the team has to handle. If that boiler has to be replaced, that's something that the city has to handle, which is above and beyond what we're mandated on this $25,000 maintenance. So that's, you know, a guaranteed number, and then anything above that, a lot of it we are responsible for paying for.
Gotcha. The concept that I keep like going back to is having like some portion of like ticket sales go into this fund that helps cover expenses. But I think that would have to be a whole lease redo, and the team would have to be on board and everything. So it's not something that I feel like we could initiate ourselves, but I think it would be a concept that's worth pursuing.
That's not uncommon in publicly owned stadiums. It passes along some of the costs to the user, the customer. It's basically set aside for these sorts of things.
How do we initiate that type of a conversation or to pursue that?
Now that it's the off season, we'll be talking to Diamond Baseball on a lot of different things, and I can bring that up, but that is not I think an unreasonable. It's done in other places. The team is in support of that.
So that's something I hope this whole body would support pursuing as expenses increase over time. I think, and ultimately, I think it's like anybody from outside the city that's going to the games isn't being taxed directly as people from inside the city are in the maintenance and upkeep of it. So I just think it's a good model.
That's the same argument around occupancy tax, as people are coming in and they're paying into the stadium through occupancy tax.
Okay, we'll do.
Do we need an action on that?
No,
No, this is just a review of this.
that's just a quarterly report.
Yeah, I think
and the discussion that came out of that.
View is the budget, right? Which is
Correct, yeah, need approval on the budget.
So,
We have, go ahead.
oh, go ahead if you want to talk about the budget.
No, we are required to submit a projection through 29
Yeah.
for the budget.
So that
Or
last year-
reporting to the authority's budget office, and we have to make a submittal by the end of October. So.
All right. So then this is the budget for 2029. I think last year at this time we did 2028. So then this year's 2029. I added it on.
Right.
So there's your municipal grants, utilities, the audit. The 5,100, that's just an estimate, because we'll be going out to bid before then. So I'm just gonna use the last year's numbers that we have. Stadium expense, and then the other operating expenses could be pretty much anything, either at the stadium, additional utilities or audit expenses. So we have to do anything with this?
Just need to approve it,
Oh,
bring it to a vote.
motion to approve.
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting.
Motion to
January
adjourn.
Motion
Oh,
to adjourn.
next meeting,
Next
sorry,
meeting.
is January 13th, of course.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.